watch the Ash Variety channel unless you're in Derry.
The echo in the pines. The fire crackled and spat at the cold night air as we passed around a dented can of beans and a stale bag of chips. Our group, 3 friends and a cousin who swore he'd seen it before, huddled in a small circle beneath a stand of towering pines. The campground was supposed to be empty this far back from the road, the kind of place that makes you feel there's nothing but spruce and stars between you and the world. We had driven 2 hours through rain-slick roads and a map that seemed written in ink that hissed when you looked away. When we finally found the clearing, the forest pressed in on us with a hush that felt almost deliberate, like the trees were listening for something we hadn't learned to say yet. "Keep the fire low," said Jay, who always tried to sound like a survival show host, even when he was scared. He kept glancing toward the edge of the trees, where the pines grew so thick and tall they drank the moonlight. We told stories we'd heard as kids, the old ranger who vanished during a snowstorm, the hunter who shot at a shadow and found nothing but a whisper of cold air. Each tale dangled in the air, threatening to drop us into a shared nightmare. But we laughed, because that's what you do when the night is breathing down your neck, and you want it to be just a story. Hours passed, or perhaps minutes. Time felt like a rope you could stretch or snap, depending on how loud the wind chose to howl. The fire's glow turned our faces orange, leaning them into grotesque shapes that seemed to shimmer at the edge of vision. Then, in the quiet between the logs popping and the wind skimming along the pine needles, we heard it. Not a sound, exactly, but a sensation. A pressure in the air that pressed against our chests and made the sparks rise and curl in the cold air, as if the night itself were exhaling over us. It started small, just a rustle, like someone rifling through a thrift store coat rack in the distance. Then it grew, a rough, uneven texture of sound, like someone dragging a heavy canvas across the forest floor, a rough cloth that refused to lie flat. "Did you hear that?" Mia whispered, her eyebrows drawn tight, as if she could squeeze the truth out of the night with a stubborn frown. We all paused. The fire hissed and a branch creaked without wind, as if something unseen pressed a weight against the canopy and needed permission to release it. The noise moved closer, then farther, as if whatever it was testing our fear the way a hunter tests a trap. The sound had a rhythm, almost deliberate, like a slow, uneven march, boots sinking into a carpet of needles. Then, stillness. Absolute, swallowing silence, so complete that the forest seemed to exhale in unison and then hold its breath again. "Probably a deer," Jay muttered, though the possibility didn't fit what we heard. A deer doesn't drag a canvas. It doesn't carry itself with such heavy, deliberate purpose, the way a walker might who has forgotten to be quiet and is trying to remember. It came closer, not with the lumbering heavy stride of a bear, but with a measured, unnatural gait, like a person wearing something oversized, moving through the trees without care for how it tugs at the branches. The pine needles underfoot pressed flat as something stepped onto them, and a strange, sour odor seeped into the air, like old meat left in a hot attic, but also something mineral, like cold granite and wet moss. We caught a glint of movement, a silhouette that did not belong to any animal, more a shadow that forgot to be a shadow. It was tall, impossibly tall, taller than the pines themselves seemed to hold, with shoulders that widened as it stepped into a thin beam of moonlight. The figure blurred where it touched the light, as if it were a painting left too close to a candle, the edges bleeding into the night. Mia sucked in a breath, eyes wide. "Bigfoot," she whispered, half in awe, half in fear. The word felt too small, too tidy for what we were seeing, something raw, ancient, and hungry for something we didn't yet understand. It stood,